Dave, here we go again. The start of a new season, just a few days away. Thoughts and feelings heading into the new season?
Looking forward to it. I suppose been a fairly quick turnaround, and I suppose from the start of pre-season, from a player's perspective, you want pre-season out the way as quickly as possible in order to look forward to the first game of the season. But you go through all the bits of fixture release and what that looks like, and then planning and preparation for that. But yeah, I suppose the preparation stuff's out the way, and look forward to the start. Now, the start of, be clear, what's a 9-month process to try and achieve what our objectives are.
Cutting straight into it, you talk about your objectives. It's so close to promotion last season. It's obviously not as simple as that to just say that because you were up there last year, you'll be up there this year, but that presumably has to be the aim to go one better.
Yeah, that'll definitely be the aim, but it will be more challenging, if anything, than last year was. I suppose we came into the division last year a little bit unknown, which won't be the case this year. And although 3 strong teams go out of the division through promotion from last season, 3 teams come down from the Championship, which is always going to be a challenge. Obviously, the teams carry momentum, and the teams that were in the division last year have reinvested and, in some instances, spent more money in order to give themselves a better chance of competing. So there'll be as many, if not more, challenges as there were last year, and a large number of teams looking to compete at the top of the table. Obviously, based on what we did last year, we want to be one of those teams, but we need to improve on what we did. If we can improve on what we did last year, then we know we'll be in and around it, and we'll be really close. Hopefully that'll be the case.
And you spoke after the Leyton Orient game about the need to improve just to stand still going into the new season. Do you feel you've done that in terms of the makeup of your squad?
We're always going to feel that, because if you didn't feel that, then you've not done your jobs, I suppose, over the summer. So yes, I feel we're in a better place. Like I said last pre-season, really, I felt we'd get better over the course of the season. That probably maybe didn't happen, largely because we started the season really well and we were really consistent and remained that throughout the course. To not lose consecutively was massive, and huge credit to the squad to be able to do that. We've had to be more patient, if you like, to get our top targets, which probably means that you're not at, or potentially at, as prepared as what you would like to be throughout the whole squad. But I'm willing to take that. The start of the season is always really important, and there are lots of points to gain in the first couple of months, but it is the start of a long process, and regardless of where you sit at the start, where you sit at the end is what matters. So, as I said last year, I think we will improve. We've obviously got to embed players that have come in only in the past week, and we'll have a few training sessions with the rest of the players. We need to get our ideas across, and then they ultimately need to go and learn on the job a little bit. But we're all okay with what that looks like.
I think, as you touched on there, it's felt like a slower transfer window at times, maybe compared to last season, where you got a lot of your business done early. But when you look at the calibre of the 2 players you've brought in this week, it's starting to feel like maybe worth the wait.
It's always going to be worth the wait. I suppose the way the window works is that if you can jump in at the start, making everything sorted, brilliant. The likelihood is that for those things to happen, there needs to have been some interest earlier, because certainly from our side of things, the uncertainty around the playoffs and the season being extended and things like that means that clubs have a jump on you. Some clubs have a jump on you in terms of their transfer activity and their recruitment. So you look like in Joseph Holloway's sort of case, that was something that we tried to do in January. So it was sort of ongoing from them really. When the season finishes, it then allows you to do something quickly if that's what Joseph and his representatives sort of want to try and get sorted, and we did, which was great. In other ones, whether it be loans or whether it be players that we might be looking at, everyone's after good players. So that means players have lots of choices, lots of options, some options higher than the division that we're playing in, and they'll want to explore them before things sort of filter down. So there'll be a natural food chain, and like it or not, we're below quite a lot of teams in that food chain. And although we work really, really hard and want to try and get our top targets, sometimes that can't always be the case, unless you wait and sort of are patient within that. Like I say, we've done that in certain scenarios and have been rewarded in terms of getting the players that we want. The important thing now is that we, I suppose, make hay on that and use the players that we've got in, the ones we wanted, to really influence our team and allow us to start the season strongly, but ultimately get better and then play an important part in anything we do this season.
Let's talk about those two new additions then. Start with Nathan Lowe, who I think had the majority of League One chasing him this summer. That's a real statement, isn't it, I suppose, about how the club is perceived, that you've gone and won that race.
Yeah, and I think as much as it is that, I think loans need to fit between a club and club, a player and a club, and I think what we try to do is the club at times sells itself, but we have to, I suppose, show people what we're doing and bring that to life. The biggest thing with Nathan was the fact that for him, the opportunity to score goals at a level that he's not done it at before, if you like, on a consistent basis, but a club that would want to be competing at the right end of the table, and a club that, in my eyes, will play into his strength in terms of how we play and how we create and try and score goals. Like I say, not too dissimilar to what he had last year, hopefully with greater quality, and we'll give him better and more frequent opportunities. If we do that, you know for certain he'll be in the right place, and he's shown from last year he can finish. So all them things marry up, and hopefully we'll all be proven right that it was a good fit for everybody.
And I know in Dodgson, that one presumably accelerated a little bit by the Teo injury, but really versatile option you've got there on the left-hand side.
Yeah, it probably didn't accelerate as much as what people will think. It's easy to think that this one's been in the pipeline for some weeks. We were always going to bring in a versatile left defender, and we were always going to bring one in before the start of the season. There were probably at times over the past few weeks where we'd maybe looked at other options and thought we were going to have to go in a different direction, because it was in paramount importance that we had one in before the start of the season. The fact that Teo then gets injured doesn't really change our situation too much. We definitely have brought one in, and if it hadn't have been Owen, which we're thankful it is, then we'd probably have moved on to somebody else, and not allowed that one to sort of go on, because we knew that that we needed cover in those positions down that side. We only had Teo and Ethan as natural sort of left-sided defenders. Teo more attacking, and we needed someone that could fill, I suppose, the role that Ibby did last year for us and the positions that he fits in. To be able to get Owen with his age profile and experience he had over the last few years in terms of his loans is great, and it will be a little bit of a, like I say, a work in progress in terms of him fitting in with us. But like I say, a medium-term target that's ticked off. That although at the moment it is a loan, we hope that will be something longer term, and he can, I suppose, find a home here and really improve with us.
In terms of injuries, I think you spoke about Teo, Beatty and Artu at the fans forum. Is there any update, I suppose, on them in terms of timescales?
No, again, similar to what I say, Teo and Beatty will see specialists this week. I think Teo's seen someone yesterday, so we'll have more clarity probably in the coming days on him. Beatty a little bit different, so he's got to get some full extension in his leg and his knee. Still some swelling in there, so we need to get that down before anything else happens really. R2 the same, no change really around where we're at. Two of them certainly with Beatty and Teo. Not sure, not going to see him in the next month or so, I'd suggest, but not hopefully as serious as what we thought. Certainly not a case where there may be surgery involved, and that obviously extends all processes. But yeah, they're out. as other teams have players out, we have to deal with that. And thankfully, the strength of our squad means that we've good players that can step in and brings up other opportunities for them.
And whilst those injuries have mounted up a little bit, you must be really excited about the team that you're going to be able to put out further down the line when everyone is back and fully fit and firing.
Yeah, you hope that's the case throughout the course of the season. The reality of it is it never is. Even we plan that there'll always be a certain amount of players unavailable through injury, suspension, whatever it might be, that's taken out of your control. It would be great to have a full squad to be able to pick from. Don't think we did it last year, and I don't think it's realistic to think that's going to be happening this year. But as many as possible. And if we get to that point, and the important thing, I suppose, is we get to that point through September onwards when the window closes until January. That's a sort of an area where we can't bring anything else in. So we need to make sure we've enough firepower and bodies to get us through that period, be competitive and be in the position we want to sit. And as you say, as long as we can keep everyone fit, we should get stronger as the players come back.
Looking ahead to Sunday, a big game to start, Bolton at home, live on Sky. It feels like a good early test for both teams, I suppose, to see where they're at.
Yeah, it's an early test. I think we've gone through change through the off-season and pre-season. Bolton have gone through change. So I would expect that they're saying exactly the same as what we are. A new squad brought together, players brought in, players gone out, played some games over pre-season, but now are into the real games, if you like. And it will be, in my opinion, a game between two teams that will be at the right end of the table over the course of the season. That's not to say that either team specifically starts in a specific way or an unbelievable way. I think you look at our opening 12 fixtures. I think we play 8 teams that, in my opinion, will be in the top half of the table, will be in the top 10. So there's challenges that brings, but it is a good marker. But even within that, all those teams have had change over the summer. You look at Leyton Orient go so close into it in terms of a playoff final, but lose players and bring players in. A new squad that you have to sort of bed in and get better with. Wickham exactly the same. Blackpool the same. Huddersfield, Bolton. All those teams have had strong squads, but there has been change. And sometimes change takes a little bit of time to sort of bed in and get that consistency. We want to try and find that as quickly as possible, as all those teams will. But what Sunday looks like, is, like you say, a game, a local game. There'll be a brilliant atmosphere, obviously live on the TV. Everything points to it being a really good occasion, and one that, like I say, from our side of it, we're really looking forward to.
In terms of that change you mentioned at Bolton, they obviously tailed off at the back end of last season. It always felt like Stephen would need a transfer window to put his own stamp on the team, if you like. And when you look at the business they've done, it feels a lot more like a Stephen Schumacher side now, doesn't
it? You can look at all different things, and you're looking from the outside without the internal knowledge of what's going on. I look at Bolton's squad last year. Bolton had a really strong squad. They again made the decision to change the manager semi-way through the season, when in reality they've been competitive for the last 3 or 4 years and been banging on the door of promotion from League One to the Championship. They didn't at the back end of last year, and maybe Stephen going in and being able to look at his squad, maybe it wasn't what they thought it was, because I certainly know that when we spoke to them when we played them away from home, which was towards the end of the season, they felt they're going into a squad that was really, really strong. Obviously, this decision has been made over the summer that they wanted to make changes and they wanted to try and, I suppose, turn that round. Now, that might be due to how the team looks on the pitch. That might be due to things that happen on the pitch, things that we're not partial to that information. But they've put a team together that they think will compete, and I'm sure they'll be strong. But if they kept the same squad as last year, in my opinion, they'd still been they've still been competitive. That squad that they had should be finishing in the top six. And they didn't last year, so they'll want to improve on that. And they've got to bar it in a way that, like I say, has made some changes that hopefully from their side of things will impact what their season looks like.
And just finally, Dave, it will be a big crowd on Sunday. You've spoken so much during your time here about the fans getting behind the players from start to finish. Do you have a message for the supporters ahead of the start of a new season?
No, like I said there, this is the start of a 9-month process. I've said in my programme, let's get behind the players from minute 1 to the very last minute, whenever that will be, and that's always been the case, especially when we're at home. So it will be a brilliant atmosphere. I'm sure along the way, we said it before at the start of last season, there'll be ups and downs. Thankfully last year there were far more ups than there were downs, and hopefully it'll be exactly the same this year. But it's always been exciting. I'm sure that will be the case. Enjoy the ride as best as possible. It's difficult at times, especially at the back end, to enjoy games, but play your part as you always do.
Appreciate your time, Dave. Thank you.
Welcome. Cheers. Thank you.